Hi, I'm Hannah Koo. I am the Customer Relationship Manager at the Cyber Resilience Centre for London. Thank you for joining me for a wrap up of this month's theme on phishing. For those who do not know who we are owned by the Mayor's Office for Policing and Crime and part of a network of 9 other centres across England and Wales. We offer free resources and affordable services to help small to medium-sized businesses and third sector organisations strengthen their resilience against cyber threats. All we want to do is help London's business community because we know how devastating it can be if you face a cyber attack, and we also know you might not have the money to invest in bespoke security solutions. But as long as you have strong foundations of resilience in place, you are significantly more protected from threats. Fraud remains the biggest enabler of cybercrime, which causes significant disruption to business, no matter the size. So I want to highlight what this means for the small business community. A Federation of Small Business report found that small businesses suffer around 10,000 cyber attacks daily. Within 2 years, 530,000 small businesses suffered from phishing. The single average cost of an individual attack was estimated at around £1,300. Should you face several attacks, you can only imagine the financial impact. Unfortunately, according to an article in Cybercrime magazine, 60% of small businesses go out of business within 6 months of falling victim to a data breach or cyber attack, which is an incredible insight into how disruptive cyber threats are towards this size of business, and is why fraud should not be underestimated. Phishing is the term used when we receive scam emails. They manipulate people into actioning a request, such as clicking on links and opening attachments. Clicking on links can lead to a fake web page where the criminal asks for your username and password. Instead of logging into your online account, you are really giving your login details to the criminal, which will give them access to your account. They can then lock you out and start posting content to your followers who might also fall victim to fraud. Opening an attachment can cause malware to spread on your system, including ransomware, which locks a device and file system from access and holds them to ransom. They ask you to pay money so your access is returned, but paying the ransom does not guarantee the criminal will go away. As we explored in the statistics, the result of falling victim to phishing emails can be devastating, including financial loss, reputational damage, disruption to business, data loss, and there is even the emotional impact. Email is the most common delivery system for the most disruptive cyber attacks because they are popular forms of communication. We communicate with customers, suppliers, and also with our colleagues, but they are also connected to online accounts, whether that's to register with a service or receive marketing communications and newsletters. We are expecting to hear from someone, and when it's someone we know, we often trust these communications more. So criminals use this to their advantage and use us humans to bypass any security solutions that are in place. This is why it is important to have resilience. You need to build up layers of security that defend against the criminal should the worst case scenario happen and you do fall victim to fraud. It's all about being able to prevent an attack with simple best practices, but then also feeling ready to face an attack and being able to minimize the disruption to business as much as possible. We're all human who make mistakes. An example of a fake website impersonating a genuine one. It doesn't matter what you click on the left page, it always takes you through to the next fake page on the right. This is simply a form that wants personal information so they can scam you even further. Sometimes it seems harmless to send information about ourselves, such as our name, But there is a lot of information a criminal can find out about you with just that piece of information. After this talk, try Googling yourself to find out what information is publicly available about you. Another scam is invoice fraud, where a supplier emails you asking for an invoice to be paid, but they have changed their bank details. Will you pay it? Be wary, it could be that a criminal has hacked into your supplier's email account and are scamming you for money, or they could have done their research and is pretending to be someone who you do business with. When an email becomes personal, this is known as spear phishing and is far more deadly. Where phishing in general sends multiple emails to millions of recipients in the hope someone takes the bait, spear phishing is more personal and targets an individual, business, or group. Criminals use information they find on social media and data breaches to concoct their scams, or they collect it from the information you submit to the form that we saw earlier. If you have recently been victim of a data breach, remain vigilant of phishing emails pretending to offer you support. Do not click on links and provide anyone with your information. Use privacy settings on personal social media accounts to protect your identity and prevent criminals knowing too much about you. When a phishing email is less personal, it is easier to spot. Finally, there's whaling, where criminals target or pretend to be the big fish, CEOs, senior management, the board. The criminal might pretend to be the CEO asking their assistant to buy gift cards for their team for Christmas. The assistant buys the gift cards and sends serial numbers to the criminal, who steals the money. This happened to someone new in a marketing agency, and they were out of pocket. Alternatively, the criminals send a spear phishing email to the CEO. Perhaps the CEO went on a golfing trip with a business partner. They post their time spent together on social media. Later that day, the CEO receives an email from the partner asking for someone to pay money towards the golfing trip. But it is really the criminal making the request, and the CEO sends the money. There are other methods of fraud where criminals will try and target the human element in security, including smishing, which are fraudulent text messages, and vishing, which are scam phone calls. You can find further information on our website, as the list is quite extensive. Collectively, this technique is called social engineering. To do our job, we have to open and respond to emails, but it can sometimes lead to cyber attacks. A couple of examples include a private school who were in the process of accepting new student applications. The admissions department opened a malware-infected application form and gave criminals all user access to prospective student details and the emails. The criminals sent an email to the parents making a request for payment of fees and offering a discount. The parents paid and the criminals received £180,000. The school was unaware of the hack until a parent brought up the payment at an open day. And wanting to notify the parents of the hack, the school sent an email saying they do not offer discounts and provided the real bank details. But the criminals were still there, so they intercepted the email and added their own bank details. Off the email went, and the parents continued to pay the criminals a further £70,000. Just recently, a popular YouTube channel was hacked because someone downloaded a malware-infected file, which allowed the criminal to bypass their login and gain access to the channel. In September, a banking firm was caught out by a phishing scam, which caused a data breach of more than 50,000 customers. And a report in February explained how a phishing email caused a ransomware attack on a charity on Christmas Eve in 2020. They are still suffering from the impact of the attack and predict they will continue to do so for a few more years to come. Despite having security solutions in place, this ransomware attack compromised 1.2 gigabytes of data, including financial records, and even encrypted their backups. It is often thought that humans are the weakest link in the security of a business, which can be true. If we accidentally fall victim, we can cause significant damage to the business, and criminals have worked out that manipulating our human instincts allows them to bypass security and means less effort to break through by force. But humans can also be the strongest security. Educating your staff on how to spot phishing emails greatly reduces the likelihood of these mistakes happening and prevents the majority of attacks succeeding, making them a strong ally in the fight against cybercrime. There are lots of free tools out there, but it can also be worth investing in simulations to assess whether there are weaknesses in staff vigilance, so you can work on making them more savvy. There are some common signs to look out for, which will help you to spot a phishing email. The email is very generic, not addressed to you personally, but remember, even if it is addressed to you personally, it does not mean it is a scam. It does not mean it is not a scam. As I mentioned earlier about spear phishing, which targets someone after getting their information from a data breach or public social media. There are spelling and grammar errors, and the name of the organization might be spelt incorrectly. Check the sender email address by hovering over it. You can then see who the email really came from. Check for small changes like an O changing to a 0 to catch you out. Hover over the email link without clicking it to see the website, and you'll actually be taken to. This can be completely different to the actual website, or again, there might be tiny changes, which means you have to look closely to detail. There's a sense of urgency. They make you panic, but remember, no time frame is too short to do a bit of research. Pick up the phone and call the person you believe the email is from a reputable number. Sometimes the email comes in an image rather than typed out. Be careful, as the image could contain an embedded link. So if you accidentally click on the link, you then might be taken to a dodgy website. Criminals will try and use logos to look genuine, but the image might not be of good quality. Finally, check whether the email follows usual correspondence. Has the sender changed the way they communicate with you? Have they changed their tone of voice, sound, maybe sound impatient or sound a bit more casual than normal? Do they use words you would not expect them to use? You can often get a feel for the way someone writes when you regularly communicate with them. If this changes, it could be a scam. And then there are too good to be true offers, such as you inherited a fortune from a long-lost cousin who was a prince. Or it's out of the ordinary. A request for money could be asked at a time when you would not normally expect it, or you won the lottery when you never entered the competition. This step-by-step guide on how to spot phishing emails can be found on YouTube. You should also keep yourself and your team updated on the latest threats and trends, as these are common themes criminals like to use in their scams. Just a few tips for you to look for right now. Remain vigilant of energy rebate scams. There have been over 1,500 reports of scams pretending to be from Ofgem offering energy rebates within just 2 weeks. This time of year, we will see tax fraud, where criminals pretend to be from HMRC offering tax rebates. They have released guidance on their website on what to look out for. Criminals are targeting hotels who are hosting people travelling to Liverpool for Eurovision. If the hotel suffers a data breach, customers are at risk of their personal and credit card details being stolen, and they are a target of fraud themselves. At the moment, criminals have been using WhatsApp, claiming that payments have failed to go through. Always deal directly with a hotel if you have any concerns. They will not usually communicate with WhatsApp and will not ask for payment over the phone. Remain vigilant of emails that have OneNote attachments, as they might contain malware. These files have a .1 file extension. Cybersecurity best practices are needed in the event you do fall victim to fraud and to protect you from other ways criminals try and cause a cyber attack. Two-step verification is a one-time passcode sent to your phone or generated by an authenticator app. The criminal does not know your one-time passcode, which will keep your online account locked should you supply the criminal with your login information. Up-to-date antivirus will detect and remove the latest malware, including ransomware. Software updates fix security flaws that criminals use to cause a cyber attack. Make sure to install the updates within 14 days. You can allow your updates to install automatically to reduce your chances of being at risk. Admin privileges give you high-level access to systems and its security. If hackers have this level access, they can change everything and malware can spread easily. Prevent criminals from getting this level access by having a separate user account for admin tasks, and never check your emails or browse the internet from this account, where you are susceptible to falling victim to fraud. Have an incident response plan so you can prepare to face a cyber attack and reduce the damage towards your business. There is more you could do to protect your business, which you can find through our website and Getting the Basics Right program. Some malware is incredibly sophisticated and could mean criminals get in anyway, but you stand a much better chance of survival if you have strong resilience. Our national reporting body for fraud and cybercrime is Action Fraud. Action Fraud will filter through the reports and send them off to those who can investigate. The more reports they receive, the more they will make the threat a priority. It also means they can analyse common cyber trends and new threats to provide guidance and issue news updates that will encourage the public to remain vigilant. Please do not be ashamed of having clicked on links and opened attachments, or even paid the ransom to get your files back. Action Fraud would like to know all the cybercrime going on in the country so they can work towards making it safer. When you forward suspicious emails to report@phishing.gov.uk, the National Cybersecurity Centre, the cyber arm of the government's GCHQ, will analyse the suspicious emails and any websites it links to. If they believe the email is malicious, they will seek to block the address the email came from so it can no longer send emails, work with hosting companies to remove links to malicious websites, and raise awareness of commonly reported suspicious emails with partners so they can take action. Just 2 months after the launch of this service, more than 1 million suspect emails were reported by the public, resulting in more than 10,000 malicious websites being blocked or taken down. The service continues to remove large numbers of malicious websites from the internet every day. So by doing your bit to report suspicious emails, you can help to reduce the number of email scams and cybercrime in the UK. Suspicious text messages can also be forwarded to 7726, which spells out spam when using the old phone keypad. This is a free of charge shortcode which enables your provider to investigate the origin of the text and take action if it's found to be malicious. We have further guidance on how to spot fraud on our website. I hope you enjoyed today's webinar. More information can be found on our website and social media channels, including step-by-step guides on how to spot a phishing email. We are always looking for new ways to help businesses and would welcome your feedback. If you could take the time to complete this short survey whilst it's fresh in your mind, it would be appreciated. As a thank you for joining me today, we would like to offer you a free first step web assessment valued at £250. This is a light touch assessment of your website, looking at what cyber criminals look for if a website is vulnerable, outdated components, sensitive information, additional risks, and more. You'll then receive a report on what these vulnerabilities are, how criminals can exploit these vulnerabilities, and how you can secure them. This is great if you have not had a web assessment before and is only half a day's work. If you have signed up as a community member and filled in the additional form about your business, email me with the email on this slide so I can get you started with the service.